Okay, my friends. So we're looking at that 3.2 lesson practice now. So our lesson summary we see here, it says it can be helpful to represent categorical data in a two-way table. Two-way frequency tables show counts and totals for each group. So you can see here that 105 students take dance and are 13 or older. A relative frequency table shows the same data, but as percentages. So 46.5% take dance and are 13 or older. This is also sometimes called a conditional relative frequency table. The relative frequency table in this example shows the percentage of students who take or don't take dance, and then also their age group. We can use these relative frequency tables to make comparisons and find evidence of an association between two variables. In these tables, it looks like there is evidence of an association between age and whether a student takes dance class. The association can be seen when comparing the students under 13 who take dance class, which is 58.9%, to the students older that take it, 46.5%. So we can see that you're more likely to take a dance class when you're under 13 than when you are older. Let's go to slide 2. This two-way table shows students' responses to the question, do you prefer to have gym in the morning or in the afternoon? And then what grade you are in. So how many students participated in the survey? When we're finding that big total, we always look in that bottom right corner here. So this is going to be 100 students. And then it says how many 8th grade students prefer to have gym class in the morning. So in the morning, we're looking at our morning column, which is 45 in total, prefer to have it in the morning. Beautiful. And then we can push ahead to the next slide. This two-way table shows student responses to the question, do you prefer to have gym class in the morning or the afternoon? Again, how many 10th grade students participated in the survey? So we look at our 10th grade row. Our full total here is at 38. And how many students prefer to have gym class in the afternoon? So we look at our afternoon column, total at the bottom of 55. Beautiful. Push ahead to the next slide. A random sample of teenagers were asked about their preferences when organizing a birthday party for a friend. We're going to use this information to fill in this big two-way table. So notice the categories are, would you rather have a group gift or get an individual gift? And do you want a surprise party or no surprise? 122 people responded to the survey. So that is going to go in our big total here of total people that responded to the survey. 50 of the people who said they prefer surprise also prefer, so they prefer surprise and they also prefer individual gifts. So surprise, individual gifts, 50. 68 people prefer organizing a group gift. So total for group is going to be 68. 56 people preferred not to have a surprise party. No surprise, 56. Perfect. Now that's all the data we have. So we have to use our brains to fill in the rest. So let's see. First one we want to do here is 122 minus 56 to get 66 for the total who like surprise parties. And now we can find this one because 60 people like a surprise party. 66, 50 of them want individual gifts, which means 16 want a group gift, Out of the total group gifts, we have 68. For our total who like a group gift, 16 of those like a surprise party, so we want to do 68 minus 16, and we get 52 for no surprise. This is going to be 4. 52 plus 4 gets us 56, and then this will be 54. Beautiful. So just using addition and subtraction there to fill in those missing values. Perfect. And we have them all plugged in. You can go to the next slide. Students, oops, 1 second. Okay, so students in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade were asked whether they prefer to write in pen or pencil. 40 students prefer to write in pen, and 60 students prefer to write in pencils. Okay, 40 prefer to write in pen, 60 pencils. Create values that could represent the number of students in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade that responded to the survey. Oh, okay. So 40 people liked pen, so we need this to add to 40. So maybe 20 of them were in the 7th grade, 10, 10. That gets us to 40. And then to get to 60 over here, maybe it's 15, 25. 25 plus 15 is 40, so this would have to be 20. That would add to 60. This is just an example. Yours might look different, but the key is these should all add to 40, and these should all add to 60. Beautiful. Look at the next slide. So here's our table from the previous screen. Write a statement about the data in your table. So it could be about who prefers pens or pencils more, depending on the grade level, but you're going to write a statement given your specific table that you created in the previous slide. Pause the video if you need to, and then when you're all set, go to the next slide. This relative frequency table shows data on whether students listen to music while they do their math and their Spanish homework. Based on this data, is there an association between the homework subject and whether students listen to music? So for math homework, 61% listen to music versus Spanish homework, only 28%. So I would say yes. If I was explaining my thinking, I would say it's more likely that you're listening to music if you are doing your math homework. Which makes sense, because with Spanish homework, you have to be listening or talking or reading in Spanish, so it can be a little harder to have music playing. But with math, when you're doing problems, it might be a little easier to have some music on in the background. So you're just going to explain your thinking here based on if you see an association, which is just like a pattern in the data. And then go ahead to the next slide. 1,430 people are surveyed about whether they take daily vitamins and whether they eat breakfast. Here is the results. We are going to create a relative frequency table that shows the percentage of the entire group that is in each cell. Beautiful. Okay, so we're looking at this as our main total, right? So for each of these boxes, we're taking the number, this one, oops. I wanted to change the color. This one first is going to go here. And to find that, we're doing 384 divided by 1430 to get our percentage. Part over whole. So 384 divided by 1430. And then when we have this number, we can click next to the fraction and multiply it by 100 to get it into a percent. So this is 26.8. And we could round that up to 26.9% for this first one. Perfect. For the next one, we have 476. So we're going to do 476 part divided by our whole of 1430. And then we're going to click next to it and multiply it by 100 to get a percent, which is 33.28, which we can round that up to 33.3 here. Perfect. Down below we have 268, and we're going to take that number of 268 and divide it by 1430. And then click next to it, multiply by 100, get 18.7 here. Beautiful. And then the last one is 302 divided by 1430. Times it by 100. You get 21.1. And we rounded all of these to our nearest tenth. Perfect. This looks awesome. And then looking at the highest percentage, we can see it's most likely that you eat breakfast but don't take daily vitamins. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to clear my board and go to the next slide. This dot plot represents the ages of people who watched a movie at a movie theater on Saturday. What kind of movie do you think that it is? So we can see where it's most common. The age is between 5 and 10. So what can that tell us about the type of movie it is? And how many people over 40 years old watched the movie on Saturday? So it looks like these dots are all over 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total people. For being over the age of 40. And then on the last slide, you should see your correct slides. I didn't type them all in, so mine's not completely accurate, but yours should show that they're correct if they are. And then when you're all finished, you can submit this lesson into Schoology. Take care, my friends. See you next time. Actually, I'm sorry, real quick. Going back to slide 2, it looks like we made an error here. I don't know how we did this, but this is how many 8th grade students prefer to have gym class in the morning, and that should just be 18. So it was specific to you had to be in 8th grade and want it in the morning. So this should be 18 here. There we go. Sorry about that. We missed that one there. Okay, beautiful. Now really, take care. See you in the next video. Nice job, y'all.